Go.
What to do, everybody? I am John Sutton, and this is... Oh, God, no. All right, cut it, and we're going to do it again.
Yeah, just go.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of WrestleRecap. I am John Sutton, and he is Dylan Graives, and we are brought to you by absolutely nobody because nobody wants to sponsor us yet. But you can fix that. Like and subscribe.
Sorry, I'm like deep throating this granola bar right now.
Oh, we're keeping that awkward silence and that in. Cold intro.
So SmackDown kicks off live from the most famous arena in the world, Madison Square Garden. We see LA Knight, Logan Paul, and Jade Cargill arrive. And then we get a flashback to Solo telling Heyman that Roman isn't coming back, and the subsequent Jacob Fatu debut. I recently learned that Fatu has been under contract since WrestleMania and was even present backstage at Mania.
How dare we not know that?
Well, I mean, they were able to keep it a secret.
From us, at least.
I mean, from a lot of people. But also just some other backstage stuff with the recent, not release, but just decision to not renew the contract of Dijak, who's been on NXT and literally just moved up to the main roster. I don't feel so bad for him anymore because
Didn't we joke on the draft recap that it was just like one of them pointless ones, and then
I don't know.
Here we are now. I remember us talking about it.
Probably. But no, he was one of the people that would sell backstage secrets to like reporters. So
Is that why he got let go?
Yeah, WWE knew, so they just didn't renew his contract. He admitted it in an interview post being let go, just not re-signed. So I mean, he could turn up in another company tomorrow. He has no non-compete clause because it was contract expiration and not a release.
Huh.
So, anyway, we see that the Bloodline arrives at the building, and Paul Heyman is waiting for him. He asks Solo where Jacob is, and Solo just pats him on the chest. And then Solo and the Bloodline head to the ring. As they get to the stage area, we see on the Tron that Cody and ya boys are KO have also arrived, and they head right on out. I also noted that they pulled right up behind the Bloodline's vehicle. The two groups brawl in the entryway, and Randy drops Tama on the barricade. Kevin Owens puts Tangaloa through a table somewhere out in the arena. And then eventually Nick Aldis and roughly a dozen security guards come out to take control of the situation as we head into a commercial break.
No extra security this week, though, huh?
I mean, they probably still got it.
They didn't mention it, though.
No, but I mean, he came out with about a dozen people. That's quite a bit of security, but these ones were here for the Bloodline, not the Wyatts.
Finally, we have to reiterate
Plot
that.
twist. Oh, when we come back from the break, Cody and KO are still in the ring with Nick Aldis pleading with them to leave. A security guard goes into the ring, and he just kind of like grabs Randy to turn him to like plead with them to leave. Cody and Kevin Owens know what's gonna happen. Owens even goes as far as to like take a step forward and look Randy in the face and then pull back. Obviously Randy RKO's the guard, and then the rest of the guards try to flood the ring, but they just get beaten down. Owens hits a stunner on one of them, and Cody hits a crossroads on another. Nick Aldis just leaves. And then Kevin Owens gets a mic and calls for the Bloodline to come back out. Randy says that at Money in the Bank, they're putting the Bloodline down for good. Doubt. We can cover that. We can cover that right now. Prediction. Do you think that the Bloodline's going to win, or do you think Cody and RKO are going to win?
I'm going to go Bloodline because Solo needs some credibility as a person of power.
Yeah, that's who I got too. Green shirt guy is here in the garden. So shout out to green shirt guy.
If you listen.
Probably doesn't. Most people don't. Most people are gone by this point. We're almost 10 minutes in. Cody says he should be defending his title at MSG, but instead he's fighting the Bloodline, whom he thought he beat at Mania. Nick Aldis comes back out, this time with NYPD officers. Well, kinda.
Lookalikes.
Yeah.
Future WWE World Heavyweight Champions.
Possibly. Never know. Cody calls Solo seat filler, as in like the head of the table. Cody and RKO finally vacate the ring though, because, you know, now that the cops are involved, they ain't trying to go to jail. At least not right now. We head into a commercial break. When we come back from the break, we get a flashback to before the break, and then we see that the cops are escorting Cody and RKO out of the building. That should be the last time you have to hear me say it.
Thank God.
I know how much you love that.
Oh, yeah.
Now it's time for a women's Money in the Bank triple threat qualifier, though. Tiffany Stratton versus Candice LeRae versus Jade Cargill. They actually gave all three of them entrances. I expected Candice LeRae to just be already out in the ring following the break. But Candice and Tiffany Stratton go after Jade to start the match. They go for a second double, like they hit a double team suplex. They go for a second one, but Jade escapes and takes control of the match by just taking them both out. Jade kicks Tiffany, and she rolls out of the ring. I'm assuming my autocorrect on here must have changed. I'm assuming rolls, but it says she calls out of the ring. Maybe it's falls out of the ring. No,
Help!
I bet it's falls out of the ring. Jade picks up Candice and throws her out of the ring onto Tiffany. So yeah, falls out of the ring. There we go. Should have had life alert.
Seriously.
Nia Jax comes out, and the audio and video feed get cut. When they come back on, Bianca is out there in front of Nia. And then we head into a commercial break. Coming out of the break, Candice LeRae has control of the match. She hits a step-up enziguri on Jade and uses the momentum to hit a tornado DDT on Tiffany for a 2 count, with Jade saving the match. Tiffany takes control and hits a corner splash on Jade, but LeRae dodges the same thing, just on the opposite end of the ring. Jade hits a spine buster on Candice, but gets a double stomp of sorts from Tiffany as she's getting up for a near fall. Candice is back up and goes after both Jade and Tiffany Stratton. Jade uses the power game, though, to take control and hits a corner splash on LeRae, but Stratton dodges it, causing Jade to fall out of the ring. Nia goes towards Jade a little bit, so Bianca gets in her face. While the ref is separating Bianca and Nia, Indy Hartwell takes advantage of the distraction and shoves Jade into the ring post, effectively removing Jade from the match. Bianca chases Indy to the back, while LeRae rolls up Stratton for a near fall. LeRae goes for a springboard moonsault, but Stratton gets the knees up, and Stratton hits the prettiest moonsault ever to win the match. Nia is apparently in Stratton's corner to win a briefcase that could be used against her. Whatever could go wrong?
It's Tiffy time.
Oh, it's absolutely Tiffy time.
Wasn't that the last qualifier too, or is there another
Nope,
one? Nope,
there's still qualifiers on Raw.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We then see backstage Naomi is stretching, and Bayley walks up and asks if Naomi saw what just happened. She apparently did, even though she's stretching in the back with seemingly no monitors around. Just telepathically somehow saw it, I guess. Naomi mentions that if she wins, she might have to cash in on Bayley, and they just kind of laugh it off and say that they'll worry about that later. But then Blair Davenport comes up and calls it a fictional situation. And Blair says that Naomi isn't going to win and Bayley's days as champ are numbered as we head into the commercial break. We come back from the break. Michin is talking to Nick Aldis, asking for a match with Nia. Then the Street Profits and B-Fab want a match with the Bloodline tonight also. But Aldis says not this week because he promised them time for their ceremony. What? Yeah, guys, you know, we understand that you're contracted to wrestle, but yeah, go ahead. We will stay out of a match. You know, you just do your little party there. Whack.
And then, interestingly enough, what's his name got married.
Huh?
So, wait.
Oh,
We're talking
yeah,
about,
you're Angelo Dawkins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
It would
like,
help
I'm
if
having
you
a brain
knew their
fart.
names.
Well, I knew it, and then I was like, oh, God, which one is it?
Yeah, Angelo Dawkins got married and Montez Ford officiated the wedding. Which,
Yeah, there it is.
Montez Ford being an ordained minister does not surprise me in the slightest.
Why?
I don't know, he seems like the kind of guy.
He looks like a very holy guy, you know?
Pretty Deadly are there as well. They apparently have just been standing in the room the whole time because they come from the other side of the camera where the door's not.
They're back.
And they want to do Pretty Deadly, the musical. The Street Profits aren't a fan of musicals, apparently, because they instead say that they want Pretty Deadly in a match. So,
Anything for a fight.
yep. We then get a flashback to Logan Paul attacking LA Knight last week, and it's time for the men's Money in the Bank triple threat qualifier of Santos Escobar versus LA Knight versus Logan Paul. Santos and LA Knight both make their entrances before heading into a commercial break. When we come back from the break, we're backstage and Heyman tells Solo that Cody and RKO.
I thought you said that was the last time.
I thought it was. Have been removed from MSG by the NYPD. It's a lot of acronyms for you. So MSG is Madison Square Garden.
Yes, I wasn't born in a barn yesterday.
And NYPD is New York Police Department. Just to make sure you got all that. Oh, and RKO is Randy and Kevin Owens.
Get out.
Heyman wants to know what they're doing tonight and where Jacob Fatu is. Solo says that since Heyman said Jacob was too dangerous, that he's not here, and he won't be here.
Right.
Press X to doubt. Solo says that they're going to officially make Heyman his wise man tonight. Back out at the ring, Logan Paul makes his entrance, and the audio and video feed get cut again, twice. Logan Paul cuts a promo on performing at Madison Square Garden, but Fox cuts the audio and video feed again, so we miss most of it. Logan brings out Tyrese Halliburton from the Pacers to be in his corner, and the audio and video feed get cut again as the crowd chants, "Fuck the Pacers."
Thank God that Netflix is allowing them to swear.
Yeah. Also, it's worth noting that Logan Paul brought out Tyrese because I guess the Pacers have beaten the
Yes,
Knicks.
it was a big rivalry in the playoffs this year.
So, I don't watch.
If there's something I know a lot about
It's basketball.
besides the main roster, it's basketball.
Yeah. So, I don't watch basketball. I originally wasn't even going to put the guys' names in here, but then it got to the point where they were actually doing stuff, so I had to go back, and it's like, God, who was it? They're going to make me care.
I'm surprised you pronounced his name right.
I mean, it looks pretty simple to say.
Some people mess it up.
Anyway, LA Knight goes after them both and takes control at the start of the match. Santos takes LA down, and him and Logan Paul kick LA Knight together before continuing the 2-on-1 assault. Santos keeps shoving Logan away to do stuff, though. Santos takes LA down before getting sent out of the ring by Logan Paul. Knight takes control with a drop kick to Santos and a shoulder tackle to Logan. And then a dude in the front row, I noted, has a shirt on that says Goldberg sucks. So we know who's next. Logan Paul hits an overbomb on LA Knight, which is just an alley-oop. Kinda. A less fluid alley-oop. Followed by a crossbody to the outside. Santos hits Logan with an S-dive to take us into a commercial break. Back from the break, LA Knight smashes Logan's head off the announce table till Santos jumps on him from behind, jumping from the apron. LA Knight sets up for something on the second rope, but Santos turns it into a Hurricane Rana for a near fall, with Logan Paul saving the match. Logan hits the overbomb on Santos on top of LA Knight for a pair of near falls. LA fights back, and the audio keeps getting cut. All three of them hit some moves and go for some pins. It's just total chaos. LA Knight hits the meltdown on Logan Paul. And Santos Escobar counters the Megastar elbow, but gets hit with a tilt-a-whirl power slam, and then a Megastar elbow. Santos hits a Phantom Driver on Knight for a near fall, with Logan Paul saving the match. The audio gets cut some more. If Fox is going to censor half the show, why even bother having it?
Yeah.
Fox knew what they were getting into when they offered the TV rights deal.
With a live audience that can say whatever they want.
Don't then censor half the show. It was ridiculous. It'll be talked about more throughout this episode. All three guys end up on the top turnbuckle, and LA Knight hits a back superplex on Santos. Logan Paul hits a frog splash on Knight for 2. Logan Paul then calls on Tyrese to get the brass knucks from his friend in the front row. But they showed us before this match started that Jalen Brunson of the Knicks was here. So Jalen hops the barricade to confront Tyrese. The ref gets out of the ring to get the situation under control, and this distracted Logan Paul. So Santos hit him with the double knees in the corner. Santos goes for the double knees on Knight, but Knight dodges it and hits a BFT. Logan Paul grabs Knight before he can go for the pin, though, and rolls LA up, but Knight rolls it through into a pin of his own to pick up the win. Overall, it was a good match.
I really enjoyed this match.
Yeah, I could have seen this go another 10 minutes, and I wouldn't have been upset. I also would not be upset seeing this as a triple threat on pay-per-view. I mean, I know there's zero build to put Santos in the match, but these three guys just meshed so good.
We'll see more of it in the future, I bet.
I bet we will. I definitely think that if they want to push Legado to be anything more than just fodder, they're going to have to put a mid-card title on Santos. And I think he's good enough to deserve it. I mean, he's been Cruiserweight champion. He may have been NXT champion. No, just NXT Cruiserweight champ. But no, I definitely see a time where these three guys are in a match together again, and it just works. In the post-match, Tyrese still has the brass knucks, and him and Logan Paul kind of get around LA Knight. But then Jalen Brunson evens the odds with a steel chair. Logan Paul and Tyrese back down, and the audio and video feed is cut again.
Yes!
Yeah. They then just cut to backstage, where Baron Corbin and Apollo Crews were watching the match together backstage in the locker room. And Apollo brings up Corbin's Money in the Bank win, but failure to win a title. And then Mello comes in and already talks plans for when he wins Money in the Bank. Mello says that a lot of people got their money on yeet. A lot of people got their money on yeah. But they should have their money on Mello. And you can take that to the bank.
I would, but my clerk would tell me that that's a fraudulent check.
I noted on here, solid line. Wonder how many times he had to practice it to not screw it up. Corbin and Apollo talk about how they don't think Mello's going to win. And it's about all that comes of it.
Yep.
We then get a video package in memory of Sika Anoa'i, one of the Wild Samoans, a WWE Hall of Famer, and Roman Reigns' father, who passed away this past week. Watching that video just reiterates that the Bloodline's family tree thing, it's talked about a lot, but it's actually insane how many of them have not only became pro wrestlers, but champions in the largest pro wrestling company in the world, and they're still going strong.
Yep.
And then, just lastly, rest in peace, Sika Anoa'i. We then get a commercial break, and when we come back, there's a promo vignette for Andrade. Then it's time for the women's Money in the Bank Triple Threat Qualifier. This one featuring Blair Davenport, Indy Hartwell, and Naomi. I noted that Indy doesn't get an entrance, so Candice LeRae got one, but Indy Hartwell didn't need one.
We know who's going to win then.
I mean, I thought I knew who was going to win. Indy and Blair seem to have a game plan, but Naomi hits them both with a drop kick. Or I guess they seem to game plan, like they huddle together. Naomi takes the fight to both of them, but they catch her in a running crossbody before Blair tries to roll Indy up for the win, but Indy kicks out at 2. Indy and Blair go back to double teaming Naomi, and Indy ends up using Naomi as a weapon to hit Blair before powerbombing Naomi for a near fall. Davenport then takes control on the outside as we head into a commercial break. We come back from the break. Naomi throws Blair into Indy and then hits a neck breaker on Indy, who simultaneously hits a DDT on Davenport. Naomi takes control of the match, and she hits a split leg drop on both Indy and Davenport and pins them both for 2. Indy hits a spine buster on Naomi, followed by a spine buster to Blair Davenport on top of Naomi, and then pins them both for 2, a near fall. Naomi goes for the split leg moonsault, and Blair Davenport dodges it, but Indy doesn't. Blair then hits Naomi with a Falcon Arrow for a near fall, with Indy Hartwell saving the match. They then all trade strikes in the ring, and Naomi goes for another split leg moonsault, and Blair dodges it again. Indy pulls Blair out of the ring and sends her into the steps, and then Indy takes out Naomi, but Jade comes out to get revenge from earlier. Jade sends Indy into the ring post before rolling her into the ring, where Naomi hits her with a kick and pins her for the win. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good match again.
They may bleep the crowd, but it's been a decent show of wrestling anyways.
Normally, some of the matches tend to lack, but in this case, Fox just couldn't keep their finger off the censor button.
Beep!
But we then head into a commercial break. I don't know if I said that before. When we come back, they tell us that next week, Jade and Bianca will take on Candice and Indy. Pretty Deadly, Yes Boy, will take on the Street Profits. And then DIY will take on A-Town Down Under for the WWE Tag Team Championships. Saved it.
Teased it.
Print it. Haven't said that in a while.
I also haven't said squash in a while either.
Haven't had to. Byron Saxton interviews DIY, and Tommaso Ciampa points out that they won the NXT tag titles in Toronto, which just so happens to be where they'll be facing A-Town Down Under. And then Austin Theory walks up. Gargano tries to tell him that Waller is only using him, but Waller ends up attacking Johnny from behind. Ciampa tries to intervene, but Waller just throws him into a production crate, and Theory just pulls Waller away, and then they leave. We then get a flashback to the start of the show with the brawl between the Bloodline and RKO coming at you again.
So you lied to me.
I mean, I was just wrong. It does happen sometimes. It's now time for the Bloodline Acknowledgement Ceremony. And I finally looked up what MFT means. Got any guesses?
My Family Tree.
No, not even close.
Mr. Miyagi.
No.
Mushrooms. I don't know what starts. Mushrooms, fruit, and tangerines.
No. MFT stands for motherfucking Tonga.
You can't say that. Fox, bleep that out.
They did, because the audio and video feed gets cut again.
Jesus God.
I noted that September 15th can't come soon enough, apparently, because that's when SmackDown moves to USA Network.
Although the censorship people in Fox are getting a good work.
Yeah, they're
putting in that overtime.
Earning their paycheck during this one. Heyman starts to talk, but Solo reaches for the mic, and the crowd chants for Roman Reigns. Solo says that before they get into that, he introduces the newest member of the Bloodline, the Samoan werewolf, his enforcer, Jacob Fatu. I noted that Jacob Fatu's entrance is pretty dope. Like, his music isn't horrible. Def Rebel might actually be figuring some stuff out.
Probably not. don't give him too much hope.
We head into the final commercial break, I think. Yeah, the final commercial break. When we come back, the Bloodline's still in the ring, and Jacob just paces back and forth behind the Tongans. Solo tells...
Between him, Pace, and I forget which one does it, but the Tasmanian Devil...
Tama.
Kind of looks like a clown show.
Yeah.
Goddamn clown show up there.
All he's got to do is throw in a... Nope, that did not work. Yeah, there it is. I just tried to do it and it went right to my nose.
Did you?
The air went all right to my nose.
After we're done with this segment, I gotta talk.
All right. Solo tells Madison Square Garden to acknowledge him. Heyman's not a fan of this. Heyman's standing there like, that's not cool.
That's not you, bro.
That's not cool, man. That's not cool. And clearly Fox don't think it's cool either because they cut the video and audio again.
I would have just cut the show.
I mean, yeah, they should have. Jacob Fatu actually just looks rabid behind him. Like, just walking back and forth.
The rabid werewolf.
Yeah, like he's just ready to strike. Solo calls on his MFT, Tama, to acknowledge him. And Tama does. Solo calls on Tonga Loa. What is it? The notorious? Or infamous. The infamous Tonga Loa. Because they want so badly for people to not remember that that's Camacho. To acknowledge him. And Loa does. Solo then calls on his enforcer, Jacob Fatu, to acknowledge him. And Jacob does. Solo then calls on Paul Heyman to acknowledge him as the tribal chief.
Dun, dun, dun.
Solo says it's Paul's one chance to live. They've been incorporating a lot of like death. Yeah, like the I'm gonna kill you or you're gonna die, stuff like that.
They just be getting ready for Netflix.
Gotta be.
I feel like maybe we can get out of this contract early if we start talking about this.
Maybe. Push the limit to the point that well, no, they're not gonna piss off USA because USA Network's gonna have SmackDown after this, and USA Network was gracious enough to strike a deal with them to keep Raw on USA Network until the Netflix deal starts.
Yeah, but I'm sure that they just don't care. They're like, we have nothing to lose. Raw's going to SmackDown. They're going to USA.
Raw's going to SmackDown?
Or Raw's going to Netflix.
Yeah, but it's not going to Netflix until that contract starts. They don't want to get kicked off TV before then, so they gotta care. Heyman, at age 58, reportedly stayed up all night to sell his look of being sleep deprived. So it wasn't an act.
You mean to sell his look of sadness?
Well, that too.
I thought he was supposed to look sad. He did that one other time. I can't remember which time that was. But he also I think it was when he was with CM Punk or something. But he sold it to make himself look sad. Goated.
Yeah, I mean Heyman puts in a lot of work for this. Tonga Loa then gets the Ulafala out of a bag and gives it to Solo. I'm assuming you have no idea what I just said.
It's the necklace.
Okay. Heyman asks where they got that from, and Solo hands it to Heyman and tells him to acknowledge him as his tribal chief. Heyman has a brief moment with the Ulafala. I have no idea if I'm saying that correctly. Paul Heyman tells Solo that he loves him, and he acknowledges that Solo is not his tribal chief.
Can I just say, like, how hard must it be for him to say his lines staying up 24 hours at his age?
Yeah, I mean, Paul Heyman is very committed to the industry and just everything. Like, man should have been in the Hall of Fame way earlier. He was offered multiple times earlier and turned it down every time, waiting for the right time, that obviously being to do it in Philly, do it where it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, if there's no Paul Heyman, it's a very different industry right now.
He who shall not be named might actually still be named.
I doubt it. Heyman's not the reason that he did what he did. Solo spikes Heyman for disobeying, and Jacob Fatu hits a diving headbutt to Heyman. Jacob then clears the announce table. Solo is calling the shots at this point, and Jacob Fatu and the Tongans hit the triple powerbomb on Heyman, putting him through the announce table. The audio and video feed is cut again, and Jacob Fatu puts the Ulufala on Solo before they raise the ones. And then the audio gets cut again to cap it off, or to cap off what was probably the most censored episode of a WWE program that I've personally ever watched.
Thank God it's over.
Yeah. I mean, it was ridiculous.
It was good matches, but you can't have any storytelling when all you get is, you. And you're like, what did he just say? Just said a vowels.
What?
I see what you did there.
What are you talking about?
For the crowd,
Yeah.
how they kept censoring it. I mean, you can't really tell a story if half the time when the guys are talking, half the speech is censored out.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
Oh.
I thought you were just playing it off like I was doing it. I was like,
No,
I see what you did there.
I was reading a message, and then I tuned back in right at the end, and all I heard was something about vowels, and I was so fucking lost.
Oh, God.
That concludes the SmackDown recap. Once again, I've been Dylan Graives. He's been John Sutton. This has been WrestleRecap. If you want to support WrestleRecap, you can like, share, and subscribe. You can comment down below and let us know how we've been doing. You can click on the video. Should be floating on your screen somewhere. But until next time, goodbye.